The so-called dark horse of the Israeli elections race has finally broken his silence. Former IDF Chief of Staff Benny Gantz making his first political statement this morning since forming a new party, the Israel Resilience Party. And what remarks have set the precedent for his campaign? Well, it's a promise to a group of Druze leaders that he will work to get the controversial Jewish nation-state law changed, which they say is discriminatory.
The Druze and their legacy is here, and we have to remember that. We have a covenant of peoples, but more than that, we also have a covenant of life. We have to make sure that together we build this partnership and this covenant in cooperation as a covenant of life as it should be. I will do everything in my power to work to correct this legislation so that it expresses the deep and unbreakable bond we have, not only in battle, but also in life, not only in difficulty, but also in good.
As expected, what followed has been a pouring in of responses from across the political spectrum. Gantz's comments have been praised by leftist party Meretz. On the right, the Likud party saying in a statement that his comments show that he is a leftist. And another newly formed party, the New Right, made up of former Jewish Home Party leaders Naftali Bennett and Ayelet Shaked, saying Gantz's first statements are destructive to Israel. And as for Culture Minister Miri Regev, she shares a similar view.
Explain what you mean. It can't be that you make a statement and actually you are saying nothing. So I'm going to tell you, plain and simple, the nation-state law will not change because the nation-state law is only about national rights.
And joining me in studio, political strategist Jeremy Saltan and candidate for the left-wing Meretz party, Yariv Oppenheimer. Gentlemen, a pleasure to have you with us.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Jeremy, we'll start with you. Right-wingers are, of course, saying that Gantz is aligned with the left based on his comments that he wants to change the nation-state bill. Why is his compassion, I suppose, for the Druze community, why does that automatically make him a leftist?
Well, you know, Gantz was an amazing IDF chief of staff, but the path from there to where he is trying to get to, which is the leader of the Jewish people and prime minister of Israel, is a long one. It was very peculiar for me, and I think for a lot of other people here in Israel. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally, after months of waiting, he finally says something. What does he do? He attacks the nation-state bill, a bill that has a majority of support from a majority of people in the Knesset. There are disagreements about certain aspects about it when you talk to some of the people in labor, Yesh Atid, but other than Meretz, there is an understanding that this is a necessary law. So I really didn't understand why it was that Gantz went in that direction.
Well, he talked about the Druze community, which, of course, Israelis feel they call them brothers, that they fight together in the Israeli army. He is compassionate. He feels that Israel has stabbed their brothers in the back through this bill. So why does that make him a leftist?
You know, I also served with Druze during my service, and I didn't hear, at least from those particular people who I did serve with, who I reached out to, who said that this was an issue for them. Listen, there are a lot of Druze that did take this very personally. It's important to go ahead and explain to them what the purpose of this bill was. I think it makes sense, as a lot of people have said in the government, that we should have another basic law to go forward to explain.
But the question is, it's more about the accusation that he's now automatically left. That's my question.
Well, again,
why does this make him a leftist?
I'm trying to understand why he wants to do this specifically within the basic law of the Jewish nation state, because we have 12 different basic laws. There's no problem to go ahead and create a new one. When he's trying to go ahead and make a change here, what he's trying to do here is pretty much say that he wants to water down the existing version of the bill.
Now, as a candidate for Meretz, I suppose the only voice for the existing left community of Israel, which we, of course, talk about time and time again, is dwindling. How is the left digesting Gantz's comments?
First of all, I don't praise this comment because I disagree with him. I don't think that the issue here is about the Druze or the issue is about going to the army. The issue here is about democracy and equality. And equality of rights is the basic element of democracy. And this nation-state bill is changing that parameters and actually putting the Jewishness above the democratic character of Israel. So it's not just about the Druze that are going to the army. It's also about 20% of the population of Israel. They are a minority here. here that is going to be discriminated according to this bill. This is the reason why the right wing were so enthusiastic about it, and the people that are not part of the Likud and other right wing parties are against it. And we need to remember this bill didn't get a landslide vote in the Knesset. It was a very, very closed race, and only the right wing supported it. Yeah, it's still the majority, but it doesn't mean that the opposition for it, it's like to be a anti-Israeli, post-Zionist people. And by the way, we need to remember that in Israel we are electing the Prime Minister of the State of Israel, not the leader of the Jewish people. With all due respect, we cannot make decisions for all of the Jewish people around the world. We are not going to vote for the leaders of the Jewish people.
So, Jeremy, then what's wrong with Benny Gantz saying that all Israelis need to be treated equally?
You know, I just want to respond to something Yariv said. Let's talk about what the actual final law is. And the final law, Yariv, does not discriminate against anybody. It does not present any new aspect that does not exist.
They are saying this is the basic...
I'm reading the actual bill that was... Let's read the bill that was actually passed. There is nothing new in that bill. What it does is it takes all of the existing aspects within Israeli law that define what national rights are for the Jewish people. It puts it together in one place and it gives it constitutional status. There is nothing new that is in that bill.
Now I'm confused. If it's nothing new, so why to legislate it?
It gives it constitutional status, which is important.
But let's listen to what Ayelet Shaked, the Minister of Justice, is saying. She's saying this law, the aim of this law is to give the Supreme Court the tools in order to prefer the Jewishness over the democratic values.
I want to put something to you, if you wouldn't mind, Jeremy. So in a Western country, for example, which observes the Gregorian, the Christian calendar, Jewish people and Muslim people aren't entitled, for example, to observe their Jewish holidays with guaranteed days off. They are given Christmas off and Easter off, like the Christian holiday. So in a country like Israel, to say that the Jewish calendar is observed and all the other religions may, under their rights, observe their holidays, what is discriminatory about that?
The bill here is not just talking about the flag or the national holidays, and we had the flag before that and we will have it later. The issue here is about rights, and what will happen tomorrow morning if a minister will make a decision to give more money for the Jewish people and less money for the Arab people. People will say it's not democratic because it's discrimination. Then he can take the nation-state bill to Supreme Court and to say, according to the nation-state, Israel is first of all going to serve the Jewish people, and just after the
We're running out of time, so I want your response. Can you be a Jewish country and democratic?
Nothing in that law discriminates against individual rights. It actually specifically says that it doesn't.
Can you be a Jewish nation state and democratic at the same time?
Yes, I believe in Israel as a Jewish and democratic state. Understand, my friend Yariv does not. Are you consider yourself? Yariv, are you a member of the Jewish nation? Is that something we can at least agree on?
I am a member of the state of Israel that is democratic.
You have to give me a nuanced answer.
Yeah,
it should be a yes or no question.
No, it's not a yes or no.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, out of time, and of course the debate will continue, and Benny Gantz will, of course, be running on this with his campaign. So there'll be plenty of time for us to talk about this. Of course, now we wonder, is it a right or a left issue? Is Benny Gantz in fact left? Who will he align with?
Benny Gantz is not running with Netanyahu. He's running against Netanyahu, and it's good that he has different opinions.
And we're yet to see who in fact these alliances will be, because of course there are many people that are running on their own at the moment. So who will these alliances be?